welcome to our fifth and final night of 5 days of self-love. Y'all, this has been such an incredible experience. And I'm sad. But I'm excited as well because I've been getting inboxes on Instagram and Facebook and emails from people that are just so excited about what you've been hearing all week long. And tonight we're going to be finishing strong. We have 4 incredible women that are going to round everything out tonight. But before we get started with everybody, I wanted to play Free Woman by Ty Bolden again. I started to bring on another artist, but I was just like, you know what? I want to finish out this week with all of our own. And so without any further ado, here is Free Woman by Ty Bolden.
Free, free.
Hey, it's your girl, Tamika Hall, and we are back with 5 days of self-love. This is our 5th and final day. I'm excited and sad at the exact same time. Listen, first of all I got to say is the next time that Ty, and I can say this because she's not on here, The next time she does a music video, I better be in it. I don't care. I don't care if she shoots the thing in Timbuktu. I better be inside of there because I want to be a free woman too and be dancing around with the white background, wearing all black and having my hands go like that too. Like, I don't know why I wasn't invited to the party, but I will say this. I am so excited. I'm going to welcome all the ladies to the stage right now. We have Miss Heather Duma that's here. We have Crystal Haynes. And we have Coach Stacy Bryant that is in the house. Well, I think she's in the house, but if she's not, there she is. She's in the house. Y'all, we got a queen here. Hello, Queen Mother. How's it going?
Hello.
Y'all.
Hello.
Yes, yes. So y'all, it's been 3 months. It
has.
It's been 3 months. We've been hanging out.
Yep.
And I'm gonna tell you, the sisterhood has just been so incredible, just among everybody. I never in a million years ever thought. I mean, I don't know what I thought. I mean, I knew we were going to, have like a really great time, but the sisterhood that came about. Look at all these people. Look at all these people. Look at all. I mean, what is?
That's what it's about. That is
but it has truly been just an incredible 3 months. And to say that we've ended this with as #1 international bestsellers, like, what does that feel like? Y'all tell me what it feel like, right?
Incredible. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
For real.
I can't with Stacy. Because everybody needs to understand. Okay, y'all, Stacy, why don't you tell us, what did you just win?
I won the cover girl competition.
Y'all, we have our own beauty queen that is part of our group. So this week we've cried together, we've laughed together. I know it sounds so cliche. We've celebrated together, and it has just been so sweet and so special. And we have people that are celebrating. Yes. We got people that are celebrating with you. Listen, I don't want to hold things up. So I'm gonna Coach Stacy and Crystal, I'm gonna put you guys back in the green room. And Heather,
Hello.
girl, we've been connected, my God, 20 years, 21 years.
I don't know how that's possible because we're not that old, right?
At all. When I was talking about the couple times I've talked about, I'm like, she's known me since I was 19. Like, this is insane. And then I have to like fast forward. I'm like, no, maybe it's only 10 years. I'm like, no, girl, you're definitely 40. So like,
it's been a long time. It's been a long time.
It has. And the beautiful thing is that you've never changed. You've always been so sweet, even as a teenager. You've just always been the sweetest person ever. And I've always loved Holly. And, I still haven't been able to give James a hug and a kiss yet, but that's going to have to change because he needs to know his Aunt Mika.
He does need to know Aunt Mika for sure. He's seen lots of pictures of you and us together, so he knows who you are.
A bunch of sass, but if I was in his life,
that's true.
Problems. I'm just saying, y'all
more spoiled than he already is.
Absolutely. So listen, I'm really excited because we get to hear from you. We get to hear from you on tonight, and tonight you're going to be talking to us about reset. Yes, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's hit it. Everybody, I introduce to you and present to other folks, Miss Heather L. Duma with Reset.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. And Dr. Hall, thank you so much for providing this opportunity for us to have a place where we can come together and empower one another and share our stories. So in the anthology, which I was absolutely honored to be a part of, I actually share a lot about my battle with this need to overachieve. And it was really an unhealthy need to achieve, and how this constant striving without taking any time for a reflection or a reset really drove me to a point of brokenness. And all the details about that and the whole story is in the anthology. But for tonight, on this theme of resetting ourselves and on reset, there's one main message that I'm hoping that you'll take away this evening. And that is, don't work yourself worthless while trying to prove you're worthy. And I know there's a lot of us in here, a lot of church folks on with us tonight. So, any good pastor would repeat that and make you write it down in your book, because this is important. Don't work yourself worthless while trying to prove that you are worthy. And said another way, don't be so busy trying to show everyone how worthy you are that you work yourself to a point of being worthless. As we know, as a group of women who've worked on this book, we know that we're more than enough now. But this is a precautionary tale of sorts, because this is exactly where I happened to find myself not too long ago. I had blinders on to my surroundings for such a long time. I was unwilling to accept my declining health. I was solely focused on striving, obtaining, achieving, getting another certification, proving everyone wrong, showing that I could do all of the things. I worked myself to a point where I got so sick that I couldn't show up and be the mom that I wanted to be, the wife I wanted to be, the friend I wanted to be. And I never took a step back to reset and think, were all of these things that I was striving for all this time even a part of my divine plan, my purpose for being here on earth? Why was I doing all of these things? So I can look back now that I'm coming through the other side of it and see that it was only through divine intervention that I was kind of plucked up out of that situation and set on a new path, but I was forced to reset. I had no other option. I wasn't going to make it another day if I didn't take a step back, give up all the titles, give up the job, give up the volunteer roles, give up everything, and do a reset. It wasn't an option for me. So my point in sharing this is that we can't work ourselves into the point of worthlessness. We have to perform consistent resets that are full of reflections. So are we striving for things that are a part of our purpose, or are we striving just to strive? That's something that I'm hoping that you'll think about. So maybe you're listening tonight and you can relate. Maybe you're on a hamster wheel of achievement yourself. Maybe you're working yourself into the ground. Hopefully you're not to the point where you need a complete life reset. Highly don't recommend that at all. But maybe there is a piece of your life where you could use a reset. And when I was going through this experience of having to strip everything away, the Lord spoke to me with 3 words. And those words were align, emerge, and bloom. And we'll come back to that in a bit. But I think it's important for me to kind of like take a sidestep and distinguish that I think that it's perfectly healthy to want to strive. And I think that having a healthy desire to achieve is perfectly natural. We just can't achieve and look to accomplish based on something that's rooted in a lie. Maybe somebody sowed a seed of a lie in us as a child. We can't try and outwork that. We can't water those seeds. We need to achieve based on the purpose that we were put here on this earth to achieve. So I like to think of it as in 3 different buckets. So in your first bucket, you have your natural high achievers. And we take all these personality tests, and they'll come back to you and say, you know, you're extroverted or introverted. Well, one of those personality traits is being a high achiever. And actually, there's a little test that you can, I can tell you if you're a high achiever or not. Anybody else make a to-do list, jot down all the items on your to-do list, then you do something that's not on your list. You go back to the list and you write it on there just so you can check it off. Congratulations, you're a high achiever. So some of us are just natural born high achievers. It's just in us. It's just who we are. And then I think in the second bucket, we have folks who faced a trauma, experienced a trauma, or had this lie sewn into them that they're trying to outwork and outrun. That's making them want to strive, making us want to strive and achieve out of a desire to prove somebody wrong. And then you have this third bucket of folks who are both. And that's where I fell. I had this natural desire to check off all the boxes on my list, but I didn't check off me. I wasn't on the list. So I never got to check myself off. I had something to prove. And I don't want anybody to get to a place where they have no choice but to perform a reset due to having worked themselves into a position of not being able to live out a life fully. So I want you to catch it early. So let's go back to those 3 words that I wanted to share with you tonight. Tonight is all about empowerment. And these 3 words have changed my life. And so I'm hoping that maybe there's someone listening tonight that will find inspiration in these 3 words. Align, emerge, and bloom. And every time I say the words, I get chills down my back because they mean so much to me. I've spent intimate time with these words. I've used these words as a source of inspiration at the beginning of every day to set my intentions. And so maybe for you, for the purposes of tonight, we'll use health. Or maybe your spiritual life as where you might feel you need a reset. So first we set the intention. Align. What does it mean to align? This means to get yourself around the best of the best. Get yourself a life coach. We've got Coach Stacy on with us tonight. Get yourself a life coach. Get a counselor. If you're looking at your health, get a nutritionist. Take some time to reflect and say, are the healthcare providers that I'm surrounding myself with, that I'm aligned with, best for where I see myself headed and best for this reset that I'm trying to perform? Maybe you need a new church family. Maybe you need some new prayer sisters. Find your church. Align with your soul sisters. Align with a new family. Align with new healthcare providers. Whatever it is that you have set out as your intention. So then the second word is emerge. And this is where we start to notice the growth. This is where we start to see the fruits of our labor. But this is also where we have to put in the work. So I see the first step of align as sort of planting the seed. And emerge, I see as, we've planted the seed. This little flower is trying to come up through the hardened soil. It's trying to burst its way through the soil. And that's where the hard work comes in, because you're trying to emerge after you've done all of these alignments. And you have to put the rubber to the road. You have to put in the work. And this is where it can get uncomfortable. If your life coach tells you some things you don't want to hear, too bad, so sad. Those are some things that you have to work out. If your nutritionist gives you advice on how to become a better version of yourself, if your doctor gives you orders, you have to show up to the doctor's appointments. You have to live out all the alignments that you set for yourself. And that is where we emerge. And then the last word, bloom, the most beautiful word of all. This is the word where we've emerged from the ground, we've started, and we just bloom. We just let the flower shine. It's fragrant. Everybody around us can smell how beautiful it is. And it's serving as this symbol to everyone else so we can share our story. But you have to put in the work first. And it's only because we took the time to step back and reflect on why we were striving and what our goal is moving forward once we perform this reset. So all of that to say, in summary, don't work yourself to the point of sickness. Don't work yourself to the point of sickness just to prove that you're worthy. We know that we're more than enough. So reflect, reset, and then take the words align, emerge, and bloom, and whatever those mean to you. Personally, set your intentions, sit with them for a few weeks. I sat with them for 3 to 5 months each. And do some reflection. And so that's why I titled this tonight, Reset, just to encourage you to maybe take a look at your life and see if there are any areas in which maybe you would benefit from a reset. So the full story about how I came to this realization is in the anthology. I would encourage you to check it out. You can go to my website, heatherlduma.com, to purchase the anthology, and I'll be available for any questions that you might have.
Yes. I love that. And let me just see here. Jenna said, this is such beautiful imagery and instruction. And it really was. It really was. I love how you just broke that down. Cassandra talks about the fact that she worked herself to sickness. And I'm telling you, it's something that I do all the time. Balance is so necessary. Yeah. And if you all have any questions, go ahead. Throw your questions in there. So I'm gonna give you a second to do that, because it always takes a second for me to be able to see your questions. But Heather, I want to ask you, because there might be a woman out there that is saying, okay, so now I've realized that I'm working myself crazy. Now I realize that I'm trying to prove myself and prove that I'm worthy. How do they do an about face? Like you lay this out for us, but it's like, okay, I'm there. So what do I do? What do I do now? Because I know for me at different times where I've found myself in that hamster wheel of trying to be, because when you said about you go back to the list and you put it on there, I am so proud when I can look at my list and I see everything that's been marked up. Like I love that. But for the person we're on the hamster wheel, you realize that there's an issue. How do we do an about face so that we can begin putting ourselves on that list?
For me, it all comes down to prayer.
Mm.
It's really rooted in your prayer life. And I prayed for words that I could use as inspiration. And those were the 3 words that came to me. And I knew I needed a new alignment. So, the first step is the realization that you could use the alignment. And maybe you're doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Start to pray for who can I align with to turn this around? I started visiting new healthcare practitioners. I started asking different questions. I started in a different Bible group, and it was just amazing how when you set out your intentions to align with folks that can help you get to where you need to be, things just fall into place so naturally.
I love that. And Jenna actually said, I think the most important key of what she's sharing is to ask for help. Get a counselor, a coach,
Yes.
a doctor. I agree with that.
Yes.
So Leah, she asked the question. She said, okay, why do we do this? Is it because
Right?
of women? Is it the rat race? Is it social media? So what are your thoughts on this?
I think it's different for everyone, but because I drove myself to this point of sickness, I had a lot of time to reflect as I was getting healthy. And for me personally, I was able to track it back down to a rejection that I experienced as a child, as a very young child. And I thought, I'm almost 35 years old. And I thought that this is something that I had dealt with many years ago. But when I really took the time to reflect, I had let that seed become planted in my mind. Will you reject me? This school doesn't reject me. Will you reject me? I'm going to graduate school. Will you reject me? Look at this job I got. Will you reject me? Look at this relationship that I have.
Come on.
We have to stop that. We're more than enough, just as we are. I stripped away every title I had, every job that I had, everything stripped away from me. And I just had to sit with myself, and I had to learn how to love Heather, to love me again, and realize I was more than enough just as I was, just from being Heather, without all the titles, without anything. And I had to come to peace with that realization that rejection that I experienced didn't have to define me as a person, as a human being for the rest of my life. So for me, it was a rejection that I had internalized. But I do think that as women, we put ourselves last consistently. And like I said, with those blinders, sometimes we put those blinders on and we want to take care of everybody else. But when you're going through your checklist, Tamika, add yourself to your checklist. Check on you.
I'm learning how to do that. Jenna said she's fully understanding this. Cassandra is in agreement. She's saying hers was past trauma and things that were happening at the time that, catapulted her into that space. And it's amazing that you talk about rejection because, this morning, God led me to write out some affirmations in order to overcome anxiety. And I didn't realize that I've been sick. And I believe it's because I've had so much anxiety to the point where I didn't even realize that I really was anxious, but I'm staying up late at night. And then, when you don't sleep, that kind of stuff, it'll lead to you feeling depressed and different things like that. And so some of it, I realized like rejection, as I was praying this morning over Facebook and on Instagram, God kept bringing back rejection. And it's amazing how we get so comfortable in the midst of our rejection, and it makes us very complacent. Know what I mean? We get used to the rejection. We want something different, but because we're used to what that feels like, it's like, all right, well, I'm gonna stay here. But I know exactly what you mean when you say, well, I got into this graduate school. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So, sir, you didn't want me, but guess what? Now I got somebody else who has money, but the person that has money is knocking you upside the head. Like, it's just, you have to learn how to be enough for yourself. Keita says that took courage when she was talking about you, when you were just talking about having to fully reset and, understanding where the rejection comes from. It definitely takes courage.
Thank you.
Antoinette says you are an overcomer.
Thank you.
Holly says, put yourself at the top of that list. Go ahead, Mama Holly.
That's Mama.
That's yes. And you're right. Why we put ourselves last. Do you find yourself putting yourself last, or do you put yourself at the top now? Like, where do you put yourself?
Well, I wouldn't say I put myself at the top, but I put myself at the top of my day now. When I get up before my little guy gets up, I get up before my husband gets up, and I spend time with me first things first in the morning. And I go through my Bible studies. I go through a passion project. I spend time with myself and I journal. So when I get up, I can set that aside and say, okay, Heather, you're on track. You're good. We've checked in. Now I can be mom. Now I can be wife. Now I can be employee. And I know that I've checked in on myself that morning. So I wouldn't say that I've gotten to the point where I put myself at the top yet, but I do put myself at the top of my day to make sure I'm checking in with myself every day.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Let me see here. Because we have a couple of questions, and folks, we're going to probably take just two more because we have 3 more ladies to speak to. Erin says it's the downfall of being an empath. Lord, y'all promise I can read. That's an overachiever in me. This word wasn't going to get me tonight. She says it can be so hard to tune out everyone else. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. I thought we had a question. Oh, here we go. Marla says, what made checking on yourself a priority? Oftentimes it's easy to forget.
For me, I didn't have a choice. I did not have a choice. I have worked myself to a point where I wasn't going to be walking this earth much longer if I didn't strip everything away from my life and focus on my health and getting better. I had worked myself so sick that I didn't have a choice. So it's my hope that anybody that's here tonight, don't work yourself to that point. Make yourself a priority now. Use this as a chance to reset and check in on yourself and make yourself a priority, because it's so easy. You can get so caught up in life where you can work yourself to that point. So don't wait till I waited way too long to check in on myself. So make it a priority.
This is going to be the final question of this segment. And y'all, we will have questions at the end. I promise. The question says, do you find that it still creeps back on you? And, you have better skills to manage now, or is it even a thing anymore? Leah says, I feel like I'm constantly a work in progress and wonder if there will ever be that overcoming moment.
That's a great question. And I think that it's always going to be a work in progress. Yes. Somebody said to me, that's really brave of you to participate in a book that says you're more than enough. I don't know that I'll ever feel like I'm enough. And we had this really good conversation of, I don't think you'll ever get to the top of the mountain where you say, I'm enough forever. I think that there'll always be mountains to climb with your work life, with your relationships, where you'll have to take some time to reflect and to make sure. I don't think you can get to the top and say, I'm good now. I think it's always going to be a constant reflection, a constant work in progress.
I agree. And I actually had some women that didn't participate because they said, I want to participate, but I don't know if I'm there yet. And I'm like, well, you know that you're more than enough of something.
Right.
There's always a work in progress. And honestly, I was about to say not to be spiritual, but I don't apologize for who I am in God. The enemy constantly brings things back to us. So for me,
yes.
A trigger for me is rejection. So there will be times that something happens. It's not rejection. Like the person was sleepy. They just fell asleep. They weren't rejecting you. They weren't being rude. They fell asleep, So there are things, because I had that constant struggle my whole life with feeling rejected. People can just, maybe they didn't hear me say hello. That was not rejection, right? And so I'm constantly having to speak to myself. Erin says we never stop learning.
So true.
Kai says constant reflection. I love it. Listen, folks, Heather's going to hang out in the green room, and we will have space for questions. So please take a second, write your question down for Heather, because we'll be here at the end. So Heather, I'm gonna throw you into the green room. Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing with us, because I know I got a lot out of what you said, and it's making me realize, even if it starts with me just putting myself at the top of my day.
Yes.
Oh my God. Good. So good. So we'll be bringing you back on shortly. Well, we have the queen that's getting ready to grace us with her presence. I would like everyone to put their hands together because we have Coach Stacy Bryant, the original stiletto boss. Hello, girl. How you doing?
I love that accent.
I can't
I
hear you.
love it.
Are you on mute?
No, I'm not. No, no.
I can't hear you, Muffins. Is that me?
Oh my gosh, why can't you hear me? It says everyone can see and hear you.
Is it me? Folks, can you guys
Yeah.
hear me? Can you hear Stacy? Because she can hear me,
Please
but I
say
can't
yes.
hear her. Is it me?
Because it says
Let me
everyone
see.
can see
You can
and
hear
hear
her.
you.
Okay, great. It might be me. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and keep it moving. I love it. I love it. So, Stacy, I'm so excited that I was really excited when you decided to be part of this project. I mean, I just thought it was the dopest thing ever. Yes, girl, adjust your crown. Adjust your crown. Why is Stacy giving us the smiles though? Coach Stacy, I cannot do it again because we got to get used to this. Y'all, did you see her though? This is 5 days of self-love now. That's how you love yourself.
Yeah. Adjust your crown.
Yeah, adjust your crown. What I love about our group is that we've been adjusting each other's crowns, and it is not something that we put on Front Street. That's not what we do. We just adjust people's crowns, and we're just excited. We're just excited. So listen, I love the fact that I'm doing this by lip reading at the moment. I don't know what's going on with my phone, but I can't hear. So I'm going to make sure that I can reset my phone. And I want to go ahead and and get the queen, Coach Stacy, up and running. So Stacy, you're going to be here answering the question, are you other people's opinion? Woo! My God. Are you other people's opinion? You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Y'all, I'm introducing to you Coach Dr. Queen Stacy Bryant with Are You Other People's Opinions?
Hello, everyone. So, yes, the question tonight is, are you other people's opinions? So I kind of chose this topic because as a mindset coach, it's your thought programming, right? Self is rooted in identity. And of course, I'm going to talk a little bit different about the things that I put in the book because I want you to buy the book, okay? I want you to buy the book and I want you to read my story. But tonight, I want to ask you, really ask yourself, are you other people's opinions? Because identity, your identity, 9 times out of 10, we don't respect self-love because it's rooted in identity. Before I go there, let me give you the definition of self-love. Okay? Self-love, having a high regard for your own well-being, having a high happiness. Self-love means taking care of your own needs and not sacrificing your well-being to please other people. Self-love can mean something different for each person because we all have many different ways to take care of yourself, right? Self-love is well, some people say it is. You know, it's not arrogance. It's not. I know a lot of people say that it is, but
Coach Stacy,
many people mistakenly believe that self-love is the same as narcissism.
Coach Stacy,
we're having a big ego. It's not, right? So what do we mean when we say yes?
So Coach Stacy,
yes.
I jumped on because
yes.
for whatever reason, as soon as you started talking, it started breaking up. Say something else for me. I know. Go ahead and talk.
Something else.
That's perfect. Okay.
Talk.
Yes. Can you give me a sentence?
Maybe I just need to be still.
Okay, well, do something like this and talk so we can see if it's that.
I'm talking like this.
What? But no, it's fine now. Okay, so we're gonna start you over. Are you good to start over?
I'm good to start over. I don't remember everything I said, but I'll figure it out.
I know, and right, and everybody is like, man, now it's clear because I'm telling you, you were going. Oh, yes. All right, so I'm gonna jump out. I'm sorry, Queen. I'm sorry. I need Facebook to get it together. We need our devices to get it together. All right, y'all. Without
yes, we do. That means I have something very powerful to say.
That's right. That's right. So again, without any further ado, I present to some and introduce to others Coach Stacy Bryant. Are you other people's opinions?
Okay. All right. So I was talking about, are you other people's opinions? I was giving a definition of what self-love was. I believe I was saying that self-love means having a high regard for your own well-being, having a high regard for your happiness. Self-love can mean different things for everybody because we all have different ways that we take care of ourselves, right? I was explaining that self-love is not narcissistic because a lot of people say that. I've heard people tell me that. You're into that self-love crap, all that that self-love is the same as narcissism or big ego. You know, we don't all, it's not. What do we mean when we say self-love? Are you coming back? Are you coming back? I think she's coming back in.
Yeah, it's chopping again. And I was hoping that when I came back, it would.
Guys, I really have put together a really powerful topic today, and I'm not sure if she's trying to. Let's see.
Yes.
See what Dr. Tamika Hall has to say.
Yeah, this is a mess. This is a mess. Okay, because we've been fine.
Okay, it's still, so I'm going to keep going because it's still, yeah, stay on with me, Dr. Tamika. Stay on. If it makes it work, just stay on.
Yeah, I mean, I was just sitting here trying to see.
I can't see, but if it makes it work, stay on.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, all right. So let's go here. Let's see, where was I? Loving yourself doesn't mean that you are the smartest person, or you are the most talented person, or you in the world. Instead of yourself, you accept your weaknesses, right? Or your so-called weaknesses. You accept or appreciate those so-called shortcomings, right? That makes you are. When you have passion for yourself, you take care of yourself like you take care, of a friend who's in need, right? You treat yourself kindly. You don't nitpick and you don't criticize yourself. For a lot of people, especially those of us who grew up in households that kind of lack love, or we were taught self-love is selfishness, loving ourselves will take work. Self-love is a practice and it's a skill that takes work. Self-love isn't about instant gratification, right? It's not about a new pair of shoes or going out eating an entire pizza. Of course, you might feel good at the moment, right? And it might taste really, really good, but the feeling lasting, and it could be damaging in the long run. Self-love means giving yourself what your body, what your brain, what your soul needs for the marathon of life, right? The marathon of life. It isn't chasing a physical or emotional high. The practice of self-love is the practice of nourishing yourself. And in order to do that, again, it boils down to identity. As I started in the beginning, I was talking about your identity. So in order to do that, you got to understand where it comes from. Unless we actively seek to redefine who we are based on biblical terms or biblical truths, our identity kind of gets hijacked. And it gets hijacked by the words that others have spoken over us, whether that is your parents, your friends, your spouse, your kids, your pastors, prophets, first ladies, all of that, right? It's easy to believe that they see something in us that we don't see in ourselves. And they can say things like, you know what, you're lazy. And then that turns into I am lazy. You know what, you're ugly. And then that turns into I am ugly. You know what, you're stupid. Then that turns into I am stupid. And from there, your identity has influenced every decision that you have ever made, right? Not loving yourself. I entitled this, Are You Other People's Opinions? Are you other people's opinions? You have got to love yourself and stop letting other people's opinions define who you are. You are not truly loving the essence of you when you do that. Your path is unique and it's different and it's special, just like you. So checking in with your intuitive knowledge about who you are and what you really desire, it's essential. It's very essential. It's essential to let go of other people's opinions because then you'll always have a connection with your truth, right? When you give too much, credence to what other people's opinions have to say about you, you're basically telling your true self, buzz off, right? Your self-esteem, it's tied to that yo-yo of what other people think of you. When other people approve of you and your decisions, right? Then you kind of feel great, right? But when other people disapprove of you, you feel like crap. You end up becoming a slave to what other people want, running around trying to please everybody with every decision that you make, never really turning or tuning into your own needs, right? So this people pleasing turns into you squashing your own desires and molding yourself to fit the idea of what other people think of you or what other people think you should be. You should stop showing your whole personality. You should stop feeling like you can be yourself. And you stop trusting your own judgment because you assume that other people know better. And this turns into living life in a shell, right? Because when other people's opinions are more important than your own, you live life on their terms, not yours. And you're the one who will be left with regret on your deathbed, for not having lived the life that was truly authentic to who you were. That they and their opinions of you, they'll be gone, long gone down the drain, and you'll be wondering why you gave them so much power over you. You've lived a life that's not what you wanted or needed or even actually truly desired. You only offer people a shell of what you think they'll like, right? Never giving your friends, never giving your significant other, or maybe your parents or your bosses or even your customers, right? Or your relationships altogether. You're not giving it an opportunity to truly know you and know how amazing you are. They'll be in a relationship with a shell, not with the real you. And you'll cheat yourself out of real intimacy, right? And it's success because of that. You'll never have what you truly want in life unless you learn to just shut out other people's opinions. And until you stop giving a crap about what they think and really tune into your desires and tune into your voice, tune into your truth, right? It won't happen. So here's what you can do. This is what I want to say that you can do. First, you got to learn to take responsibility. You got to realize that 9 times out of 10, when you're worried about what other people think, it's a projection. You're projecting your own fears and your own internalized self-judgment onto other people. You're pointing on them that what you yourself really think. So when we take responsibility for letting go of other people's judgments, we empower ourselves to stop being just harsh and judgmental with ourselves, because ultimately those things go hand in hand, right? When I retired from the military and I became a coach, I promise you guys, I feared what everybody else would think. I thought that, they would reject it, and think I was crazy. And honestly, a lot of people do, right? But it turns out it was really mostly all in my head. And I've gotten nothing but support, like lots of support, right? Lots of support. And or people didn't say anything, and I'll take silence over judgment any day. But what was really happening was I was judging myself for my ship. I felt guilt about leaving my role as a soldier and moving toward what lit me up. And being a coach, doing things like this, like even coming before you now, this stuff lights me up. Like my energy is absolutely unmatched. I know somebody's on there like, oh my God, she's just so, over the top. Yes, it lights me up. And once I let go of what other people thought, once I let go of all of the fears about what other people would think, all of that stuff just went away, right? You got to also understand that you have to learn to let go of embarrassment. So many of us stop ourselves from living our best lives because we fear embarrassment, right? We fear what other people might think of us if we wear that bikini, but we don't feel like we have a perfect body, right? What's a perfect body? I want somebody out there in the comments to tell me, what is a perfect body anyway, right? We fear what the other woman might say or think if we wear the dress with, the low cut cleavage. I don't have a lot of that, but Tamika and I had a conversation about other people's thoughts on that, because I think she had on a dress one day and the cleavage was out. It's like no Christian would wear something like that. Whatever. Wow. Right? We wonder how other people will perceive us if we speak up in a meeting, right? We got to stop that. We got to stop it. We really have to stop that. I encourage you to stop that right now. If you're doing that, stop it. Embarrassment is really no big deal. I promise you is. The only reason that embarrassment feels terrible is because you project your feelings onto other people. A few months ago, I went into the grocery store and my card got declined at the register, right? And for a minute, I was like really like embarrassed, right? I had completely forgotten that I had recently made a big purchase on my card. And you know, when you make a big purchase, you can only purchase so much in one day, right? And so I forgot about that. And so when it declined, I was mortified to have these people think, you know, oh my gosh, you know, she can't afford to pay for her groceries, right? But I took a deep breath and I said to myself, you know what, bump it. And, you know, I opened up my wallet. I grabbed another card. I swiped, made the payment. I went on, got on with my purchase, right? I walked out and I sat in the car for a minute and I thought about what just happened, right? And a few years ago, I probably would have just left the groceries and walked out the store. I probably would have been full of shame. I wouldn't have gone back, you know, to that store for a while because I would have been so concerned with what they thought of me, right? The embarrassment, it would have just consumed me, right? It would have just, it would have been so consuming that I would have basically just sabotaged my happiness, right? And that happiness was getting all those groceries, going home, cooking me a good meal, right? But because of self-love, right? Let me touch this real quick because a lot of people, not only would you have just walked out, you would have probably gone into explaining it away, right? Explaining and finding a whole plethora of reasons why this is ludicrous, you know? Oh my gosh, you know, just making a real big scene like, oh my gosh, I don't know why my card is declined, you know? That's you hiding behind the embarrassment, right? But this time for me, it was totally different. I laughed when I got in the car, right? And I realized that, you know what, it ain't such a big deal. Like, and who gives a crap what those people think anyway, right? I actually made a really big purchase. That's why I declined, right? I was just so totally liberating to even think like that. Let me encourage you to stop the comparison game, right? You got to put on your blinders. Stop looking at what everybody else is doing. Keep your eyes on your own paper, right? Seriously, on your own Benjamins, right? Everybody's journey is different. No one's life is going to look the same. And often we get lost in worrying about what everybody else thinks, right? Because we're existing in a state of perpetual comparison. We look at what everybody else is doing and think that unless we're doing something just like that, then we fail, right? It's ludicrous, right? It's totally not true. So when we drop the comparison and just hold ourselves accountable to meeting the goals that we've set in front of us ourselves, then we stop feeling like that we're running this race, right? We're running on this treadmill that won't stop and let us catch our breath. Because that can be exhausting. Comparison is something that will drive you back crazy, right? And it's self-imposed. It's self-imposed torture, not self-love. That's not self-love. We got to learn to let that ish go, right? But you also got to make sure that you're setting boundaries. So what do you do when you have people in your world who suck the positivity right out of you? You know, I'm talking about those energy vampires, right? What do? You got to set boundaries. That's what you do. You set boundaries. If people are tearing you down and they're making you feel like that you're less than, or, you know, that you're not up to par with them, then tell them, unless you can speak respectfully to me about whatever it is that we're discussing, then I'm going to exit this conversation. It can just be easy as that. And sometimes we don't look at it like that. We think it's got to be this big, long, drawn out ordeal. But that's all you have to say. Set boundaries with these people who have been just kind of making you feel like you're a little bug under their foot, right? So set boundaries with them. You know, don't allow their judgments and their opinions. It's gonna, you know, if you don't do that, it will help you feel so much better about yourself. Listen, increase your self-esteem and your self-worth. Self-esteem is just that. It's esteem. It's esteem of the self. It's only something that we can give to ourselves. We can only grant ourselves self-esteem. No one can give that to us. No one can fill up our cup for us. No one else can say, here you go. Here's a bag of self-worth. That's not how it works. It has to come from self. It has to come from you. And this is the part of the issue that so many people have with overvaluing other people's opinions. When you overvalue what other people think of you, it's because you're looking for somebody else to fill up your cup. You're looking for somebody else to give you self-esteem. So one of the most successful ways to stop caring so much about what other people think is to start feeling really, really, really great about yourself, hence wearing a crown, right? Really feeling good about what it is you do outside of what other people think of you. And that way you no longer look externally to fill your cup, and you feel really good about yourself. You disconnect yourself from that yo-yo I was talking about, where other people's opinions cause you to feel great or terrible, about yourself. Because at the end of the day, you really feel fabulous about yourself, regardless about what other people think. And you got to remind yourself, whose life is this? Ultimately, this is your life. You're the one who's going to wake up at the end of it and either feel, that you've lived a life that was fulfilling and energizing, or did you, live a life that you regretted? And one of the biggest regrets of somebody that's on their deathbed is, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life that was true to myself, not the life that other people expected of me. The only person's opinion that really matters is your own. So let me say that again, because I really want you to get the boom from that. The only person's opinion that matters is your own. You're the one who has to be happy and satisfied with how you lived your life. You're the one who is stuck with the results of your life. So you're the one who gets to decide. My next point is make the decision. One of the key points about not caring about what other people think is to actually make the decision to just stop caring. It's a simple concept, but it's easy, right? Make a decision. Make the decision to just not even worry about it. By making a decision, you're making a commitment. You're making a commitment to yourself and to your happiness. You're making a commitment to living your life based on your desires and what make your happiness, right? You're making a commitment to yourself. That's powerful stuff, guys. That's really, really powerful stuff. I want you to also understand that you got to forget about failure. A lot of us, we don't even invest in self-love because everything is about failure and fear. I say this over and over again because it's worth repeating. Failure is nothing to fear. A lot of times we fear what other people think because we fear what they'll think if we fail, right? What will they think if I open my own business and then I'm not successful? What would my fellow entrepreneurs think if they knew I wasn't making any money yet? What would they think? Who cares, right? Bump that, right? We all fail. But really, there's no such thing as failure. There's just learning and growth. I lost something like 80 pounds when I was with my ex, my last relationship, right? I squashed who I was, my personality, my exuberance, my love of life, right? Because I was told I was extra, right? I was told I was extra so many times. And I settled on a lot of things in my life, but I don't see any of those things as failures. They were opportunities for me to learn, opportunities for me to stop these patterns forever. Because sometimes the universe gives us a push so that we take that lesson down real deep and never forget it, right? And I will never, ever, ever diminish myself again in any kind of way, right? Because I know my value, right? You got to check in with your intuition. What do you feel is right for you? What is your true path? What type of woman, man, person, human do you really want to be? Tuning into your intuition it's a piece of letting go of other people's opinions. And so often, especially in entrepreneurship, of course, I teach on entrepreneurship a lot, but we try to follow the pack. We do what other people tell us we should do. We do what other people tell us is going to work because we crave that approval from other people, or we crave that validation that we're doing it right. But what's right for them might not be right for you. Your path is unique. Your path is different. Your path is special, just like you are. So checking in with your intuition, checking in with your intuitive knowledge about who you are and what you really desire, that's essential to letting go of other people's opinions, because then you'll always have a connection with your truth, right? And so to sum up what I just said, self-love is described in the dictionary as, let me look at my notes, y'all. I wrote it down just as the dictionary said, regard for one's own well-being and happiness. That simply means that you care about your own well-being and your happiness. and you look for ways to take care of yourself and your needs. That means you care about giving yourself what you need and not dividing yourself to other people's opinions. Each and every one of us has different needs for well-being and happiness. We are all unique. I know I'm going off topic a little bit real quick, but I feel compelled to share this real quick. I know people often ask, what the heck does loving myself mean? What does that really mean? It's this whole big thing about self-love right now. Everybody's talking about self-love, right? Are they talking about taking bubble baths and pedicures and cucumber masks? Well, listen, it turns out there's so much more to self-love than just pampering yourself. About a year and a half ago, I almost died after a bad breakup. I'm not going to even lie to you guys. Really, seriously. I devoted so much of my energy to making the relationship work that I completely neglected my own needs. And I'd given away my power, my responsibility for happiness. And when I finally developed the courage to end that relationship, I spent every waking hour to myself trying to understand how and why I had gotten there. And during that whole time, I found places in my story where I was just not present in my own life. I wasn't present in my own body. I wasn't present in my own spirit. I was just there. I found the places where I had abandoned myself, and then I gotten mad at the other people for not meeting my needs, right? And so the truth is, I didn't have a big enough inner container to hold the love that I desired, right? Even if I received it, because of my self-love tank, it had shrunk so small, right? I'm talking about small, right? So I didn't have room to just even really fill it up. So it finally became very clear to me that there was one core reason that I had gotten there. I did not know anything about self-love, right? And this realization, it launched me into a relentless search for the meaning of self-love, internally and externally. I found that self-love is not a destination. It's a practice. Self-love is the foundation on which we build a happy life. And without self-love, we have nowhere to put the love or the abundance that comes to us. Self-love is choosing yourself, even if it means upsetting other people and not being popular anymore. Even if it means we leave a party before anybody else does because we're tired, right? Because we're overwhelmed, or we're just, we feel we're just done with that, right? That's self-love. Self-love is telling what is true for us, not swallowing words that express what we really feel or what we think or what we want to do. Self-love is giving our body the rest we need, the nurturing we need, the exercise we need, the comfort it needs to be the best of our ability. Self-love is wearing clothes that make us feel good and it fits our personality instead of wearing clothes that are in fashion, to impress other people, right? We've all done that. We got to go get them name brands so we can impress everybody on our timeline, right? Self-love is building a life that we love while we are single. And I'm talking to my single folks out there. Valentine's Day coming up, and some of us are just already depressed because you don't have some, sugar mama, sugar daddy, right? But self-love is building that life while you're still single, instead of waiting for your Prince Charming or your princess to show up and explore life and be happy. You can explore life and be happy right now. Self-love is accepting ourselves with the good, the bad, the ugly, the sexy, the smelly, right? All of that, and appreciating ourselves as whole people. We started out, my video's a little choppy. I still love this, right? I'm hoping who needs to hear this message hears it, right? I love myself because I still have the tenacity to keep going, even though I had some issues, right? That's self-love. Self-love is making time to do whatever it is that you love to do. Maybe it's just to play without worrying about wasting time. Self-love is about owning our inner and our outer beauty, not just our outer, but our inner and outer beauty, and complimenting ourselves without feeling guilty or feeling arrogant or feeling entitled, right? That's self-love. Self-love is not rehashing our past mistakes and dragging ourselves through the mud or into a dark place when we know that we can only learn from the past. We can't change it. You can't change anything about the past, but you can love yourself through those mistakes, right? Self-love is spending quality time with yourself, spending time, connected time, not just quality time, but connected time, connecting to who you are instead of watching TV or wasting time on the internet, right? Self-love is using discretion when sharing our heart, right? And I'm not saying that you can't share what's going on with you. You can't vent. You can't tell your dreams to other people. But self-love is using discretion with doing that, right? Self-love is trusting the path that your soul is on and making a genuine effort to become a conscious co-creator of your destiny, right? Self-love is not blaming your parents for your current issues, which a lot of us do. That's not self-love. Self-love is not blaming them for that. Looking for ways to heal your wounds and change your dysfunctional pattern, right? Change that pattern behavior by reaching out to maybe ministers or therapists or coaches like me, right? Or even healers. That's self-love, right? Self-love is following your gut, following your intuition, right? Instead of living out of our ego, right? Living out of our brain and our ego, because both of them together can get us in a whole lot of trouble. Self-love is staying in your integrity. When it comes to ourselves and when it comes to interacting with other people, out there in the world, people you're trying to impact, people you come into contact with, this includes keeping yourself in check regarding your patterns, such as lying and manipulating and being codependent and withholding and pretending. You got to check those things. This is all internal stuff that I'm talking about. Self-love is allowing yourself to dream big without contaminating the dreams with judgment, right? Or perceived limitations or a lack of a sense of deserving, right? Self-love is knowing that you're spending your emotional, your mental, your financial, your physical energy, and whether these activities bring you joy, right? Whether it brings you connection, whether it brings you nurturing, whether it brings you rest and creativity to your life. Self-love is taking responsibility for all of your experiences, knowing that you have the ability for deeper self-awareness, right? And access to your intuition when it comes to making life choices. Self-love is not labeling yourself with others' opinions of you while having the courage to just look inside to see if there might be some truth to them, right? So even though you don't take what other people say on, you are open-minded to say, you know what? I'm willing to investigate that. And I'm willing to grow from that if that is true. But if that's not true, I'm not going to take what you say about me and wear it as a badge of honor. Self-love is learning to set boundaries that protect and nurture your relationships with yourself and other people. Self-love is allowing others to make mistakes and not berating yourself for making them, right? Instead, choose to appreciate your desire to learn and grow. I'm telling you guys, this self-love thing is big. Self-love is refusing to seek permission or approval, to be yourself. Recognizing that we, like everybody else, deserve to take up space on this planet just as who we are right now. Like me, I'm so different than so many people. I bring things so different than so many people, but I still love who I am with that, right? I'm different, I'm unique, I'm special, and so are you. And lastly, self-love is loving and accepting yourself, even when you fail miserably at some of these self-love things that I just talked about. No one can offer these things to you. No one can take a vitamin for you to prevent you from going into a self-loathing attack. No one can do that for you. But even if you land the best partner on the planet, this person won't be able to make you happy and feel love unless you create the space for it inside by practicing self-love. This is why self-love is an inside job. Listen, I leave you with, are you other people's opinions? Are you other people's opinions or yourself? Or are you truly loving you? I am Coach Stacy, also known as the Manifest Chick. From my heart to yours, you are not other people's opinions. Practice self-love. And in honor of Love Month, let's practice self-love so that we can fully love others. That's what I have.
I love it. I love it. I just love how you came in here and you broke down what self-love is.
Dr. Tamika, are you there? The queen is
I
signing
am
off.
here. Can you see me? You got me? Y'all,
I
this
can see
thing is
you. I
You,
can see you.
you got me now. Coach Stacy, so powerful, so powerful. We have folks that are saying, Marla says, powerful. Self-love is an inside job. Absolutely. LaShonda says, I am not other people's opinions. Cassandra reiterates, self-love is an inside job. I'm telling you, that resonated. That resonated. Antoinette says, take your responsibility for all my experiences. Love that, Queen Coach. Cassandra is giving you all your flowers in your hearts right now. Dinah says, self-love. Thank you. Awesome word. And you know, just the thought that it really is our responsibility. I'm telling you, you gave so many powerful nuggets. Even just the whole thing about embarrassment, how embarrassment is us projecting our feelings on somebody. Like, how selfish is that, right? We're sitting up here thinking for somebody else. And because when I see people get their card declined, honestly, I'd be like, help them, Lord. You know, or
Yeah.
sometimes, and if I'm in a space of abundance, I'll be like, I'll actually start praying, like, God, do I need to pay for their groceries? Like, I don't, all the things that we experience when we get embarrassed, like those butterflies in our stomach, we feel like we gotta use the bathroom on ourselves, all that
Yeah.
stuff. Nobody really cares like that.
They don't even know.
They don't know. And I saw some people, the comments were like, they can't even hear your thoughts, you know,
Right.
anyway, you know? So, you know, why in the world, well, yeah, let me ask you this. Why don't we have more people teaching what self-love actually is? Because you need to, that list that you gave, and I hope you had it written down, but I feel like you didn't, because it
Yeah.
seemed like it
No,
was
I do. I have
extemporaneous.
it's
You need to turn that into a poster, literally, so we can hang it on our wall, because that was so powerful of what self-love is. Like, self-love is the ability to fail and like not beat yourself up. Like, oh my God. Like, even the part where you said that oftentimes, and I need to scroll through the comments because I actually had to type it out. And I hated that I was on mute because I wanted to be like, yes, you know. But you said something like, a lot of times we don't even invest in love because of fear, I think is what you said. That thing, wow.
That is what I said.
Why don't we teach? Why don't we have more people teaching us what self-love really is? Because like you said, it's not pampering. Why do you think that's happening? Folks, listen, if you have any questions, this is the moment to do it, because we need to move forward. So if you got any questions, go ahead and post them. So why do you think that we're not having more people talk about what self-love actually is?
Oh, that was the question for me. She's like, wait, I'm waiting on you to answer.
Yeah, I did.
Well,
yeah.
Well, I think that we don't have a lot of people teaching on that because they don't know themselves. Period. It's not a whole lot of explanation. They don't know themselves. And that's why we have a lot of things that are going on. You can't really truly love others until you learn to love yourself. And that's what self-love is all about. So how can you teach when you don't know?
And you know what else was really powerful? I loved your transparency, especially when you started talking about the space of the relationship. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, the thing that has been getting on my nerves so bad, I would even say the last week and a half, are people who are automatically saying, well, on Sunday morning, I'm gonna go to Target and knock everything that has Valentine's Day onto the floor. Like, why are you doing that? It's like, it's one day. It's one day. And that one day does not equate, it does not equal or tell you whether or not you're worthy of love. So you're gonna go into Target or Walmart and you're already talking about how you're gonna knock everything over. How crazy is that? I think that is insane to me. So I appreciated you being transparent, because and also saying, because I had gotten to the place too, when y'all know I'm famous for saying I put myself on a man fast literally for 2 years. And I did that because I knew I needed 2 years. Yeah. I know. You've been, how long has it been?
I thought it was a year, but you said 2.
It was 2 years. Yeah. Now it wasn't intentional, but it ended up being 2 years.
Okay. So you've been loving the hell out yourself.
Yeah. I had to, I mean,
I'm being funny.
it's the truth. No, honestly, I mean, like I said, and that doesn't mean that there weren't moments where I thought maybe something was going to turn into something, but because I was on the path of loving myself, This doesn't work for me.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean? The spaces where
Oh,
I would
boundaries. The
the spaces
boundaries
where I
I
would
talked
give my
about.
heart, I would give my body. We're not doing that. You want to know why? Because you sound stupid, right? You know what I mean? No, that's not gonna work for me. Because you wanted to take me on a date to McDonald's. That's not self-love. Because guess what? Tamika was already buying herself flowers. I was taking myself on dates, places I wanted to go. And so for me, I was just like, this doesn't work for me.
Oh, even me eat McDonald's. I wish there was a moving on.
But you know, I'm just saying. Oh, look at this. Oh, LaShonda said powerful. 2 years.
Yes.
Kelly says not a man fast. Yes, I'm right. I'm
Yes.
working on the book right now, Kelly. Yeah. Yes. This you got to do this.
Cassandra said 2017.
I know I'm about to put it on there, but I
Oh
want
my gosh, I almost choked on my own saliva.
I need you to go ahead somewhere. Because Marla said, please create a self-love curriculum, Coach Stacy. That needs to happen. That needs to happen. Yes. So that we can see Coach Stacy choke with her crown on.
I know, right?
I had
Because Cassandra done messed me up. That's my sister girl. But baby, that's who need to create the curriculum.
But look, then this is what she said. She said she's been taking international trips by herself. But you know what?
That's self-love.
Absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter if somebody's man fast is 6 months, whatever it might be. You know what I mean? It really comes down to, can you love yourself while you're single?
That's right.
Or do you find yourself only being worthy of love when you have a partner? If that is how, like, you got to be, it goes back to your first point. Take responsibility. You got to take responsibility for why you are in the situation where you are. For me, I understood that relationships, men, and sex were my drug of choice. So if I felt unworthy, I went and had sex. If I felt lonely, bam. If I had anxiety, boom, it was my drug of choice. So I fell into a lot of relationships that were not for me. I created a bunch of soul ties that were not for me. What I look like trying to date somebody that's got 9 kids, honey.
Come on through here.
I'm trying to tell you.
But let me say
I was
this
rationalizing
too.
it.
Let me say this too, because we kind of put emphasis on single people when it comes to times like this, and we're talking about self-love. And the same thing is the same thing in these relationships and marriages. It's the same thing.
Absolutely.
You still have to love yourself so that you can fully love your partner.
Come on. And you know, because we probably need to have a whole separate live, because I want to get Crystal and Robin up here. But absolutely, you know, I was married for almost 13 years, but the rejection, I brought so much baggage into that situation. I walked into that marriage rejected. I walked in there feeling unworthy from the gate. That's not a recipe for a good relationship.
Exactly.
You walk in unworthy, and then you're looking to the other person to make you feel fulfilled.
That's right.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Antoinette said this should be a pre-marriage course. Kenya said, can we just tell the truth, please? Absolutely. Dinah says, yes. Listen. We have to listen. We are breaking chains. Like, that's what this week has been about. But I'm trying to tell you, please do something with that self-love list. I've never heard anybody break it down like that. I have never read anything like that. Like, man, that's for you to, and I'm so glad. It's so crazy how this system was working today. It was the craziest thing, because that's why that happened. Because it's been fine all week long. And then all of a sudden, now I need to be on camera, and then I had to unmute myself, and it was crazy. But God fixed it. And if you go back and look through the comments, people were tarrying and praying and pleading the blood over the Wi-Fi. Yes. So, Coach Stacy, thank you so much. Please hang out with us for a little bit, just in case people need to talk to you and things like that. All right, folks, listen. So I was going to, well, we're gonna boop.
Oh, she put it back on me, y'all.
Go ahead. My God.
I guess the moment we will be right back.
Be right back. Yes. Oh man, thank you guys so much. Every day has been they've just been building blocks. They have been building blocks for today. And I'm really excited because we have Crystal Haynes that is here for us. Now, she is a model. She is a radio host. Honey, she's a whole bunch of things. She's a whole bunch of things. And I'm so excited to welcome Crystal here. Now, listen, y'all know Aunt Patty has been here all week long, but Auntie's just going to have to sit back because I want to make sure that all of these incredible ladies have a moment to be able to just to come and to just pour into all of you. Do me a favor, share this out, please. Share this out because as you guys can tell, we are breaking chains tonight. Heather started off by telling us to reset. So obviously when you reset, part of the reset has to be, then you got to take a look at how are you a people pleaser? How are you looking at other people's opinions and projecting your feelings on other people? Y'all. And then we have Crystal who's letting us know in the meantime. Oh, y'all, I did not put these women together. They literally randomly chose days that worked for them. And I just get so excited that when God does something, he does it so well. So, Crystal, you ready, boo?
Show am.
All right. I love it.
It's the funniest thing, Tamika, that you said that because that's what I was going to say. That when God puts something together, it flows consecutively. When I start speaking, you'll see.
Listen, that's why I said there's no need for, we're not going to break it up. We're just going to keep on blessing the people. Okay. We're not breaking it up.
First, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be part of the anthology. Thank you for bringing me on tonight. Just thank you for everything, Dr. Tamika Hall. So it's funny that Heather spoke and her title was Reset. My podcast, season 3, premiered this month, and episode 1's title is Reset.
Shut up. Shut up.
It's about resetting.
Yes. Heather's back there going like this.
Yes.
And it's funny because Heather said some things, and then Stacy said some things, and I'm going, and I'm number 3. I love how it's building. So we had the reset, we had the are you other people's opinions, all of those things wrapped up, and now here we are with in the meantime. And I got that because when you get the book, and I know you guys are going to get the book, when you get the book, you're going to read, and when you get to my story, you're going to see that it's an in progress. And why I wanted to focus on that in progress is because many a time people think that just because you're going through it, you might not see the end of the tunnel, or you might feel ashamed. It's funny that someone commented when Heather was speaking, and they mentioned about their struggle, and it was like actively, and they were wondering, about the end of it. And what we have to say is you keep going. Stacy talked about it, failure. Don't fear that. Don't fear that. Keep going head first into it, heart first into it, because you need to understand yourself. And part of that process is you feeling the pain, feeling the embarrassment, but knowing that you can get past those things. So if you don't allow yourself to get there, you'll forever be stuck. And then you'll need a reset, but you'll never reset. You'll never hit the button because you're too afraid to do it. So in the meantime, while you're waiting to come out on the other side, you're doing the work and you're not being afraid of it. You're being, what's the word I'm looking for? You're being confident that while you're doing the work, that it's going to happen for you, right? And then you're holding on to acknowledging the pains that you've had. You are starting to embrace who you are. Because let me tell you, honey, ain't nothing like some past pain or present pain to make you go face to face with understanding yourself, with understanding where you want to be. There's nothing like going through something that helps you to see and get a clearer vision and that perspective. I talk big about perspective because we many a time forget that we need a perspective shift, and we stay stuck. And staying stuck helps no one. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help your family. It doesn't help your loved ones. It doesn't help your community. None of that. So, in the meantime, while you know where you want to be, while you understand and you've written down your goals, right? And hopefully, when Stacy comes out with that big poster on what self love is, right, Stacy? See my eyes? When she comes out with the big poster, you'll have that up on the wall. You'll also have your goals and your visions. You'll also have your journal, writing out what has hurt you, because sometimes we need to see it with our eyes. So I'm a big advocate of writing it down. And even if it's never for anyone else to see, it doesn't have to be on a board or anything on like the fridge or anything like that. A private journal. Write down the things that have hurt you, the things that have hurt you so deeply that you could not fathom saying the words out of your mouth. You write them down because your pen can feel nothing. But when you see them, you come face to face to identify them. And then you now give yourself control and power over them. And they can't control and have power over you anymore because you've written them down and you now have the power to cross them out. So this is part of in the meantime process. You are working on you, but you're not worrying. You are not worrying about, well, I'm in the process. I see all these other people. They look like they've overcome this social influencer. This was her struggle. This was her addiction. And look, she's all glitz and glam, but this is taking me 17 years. This is taking me 15 years. Why am I still here? You're still there because your struggle is yours. You have a different soul, a different spirit, a different body. You are different from them. Your journey does not have to be the same roadmap as anyone else's. Your fingerprints differ, your DNA differs. So does your journey. And you need to understand that. And it took me a while for myself to really understand I can't compare. And Stacy, this is funny. Stacy mentioned the comparison. Season 2 of my podcast, I mentioned comparison as well. And the title is called Killing It, because we seriously have to kill comparison. It keeps us stuck, even when we are trying to heal. If we're constantly looking at someone else who's on their own journey of healing, and we're comparing why we're not healing at the same level, tell me, does that make any sense whatsoever? Did they go through the same thing, the same moment, the same time in your same skin? No, they didn't. So you can't look at them as they're healing for your same healing. That's why it's very important. And I will advocate also for mental health counseling because it helps you. I myself this year, no, it was the end of last year, I myself was blessed to finally be able to speak with a counselor. I've always wanted to. I'm the type of person that holds things in. I hold it and just try to make sure it resolves itself because I'm always counseling someone else. So I feel at times, well, there's no time for me. I can't go back to these other people because I just help them. So now I have an outlet. But what that is helping me do is be in my own meantime situation. So as I am dealing with things, it may be that your particular struggle, I know mine, when you read it, you'll see, and then you'll start making connections. Mine is not just surface level. There are so many deep rooted things in there. And I had to be gracious to myself. It's very important that we remember we don't only give grace or extend mercy to other people, but we do it to ourselves as well. When I think back, to know that my God and Father up above has loved me so much, to have forgiven me, to have extended grace and mercy to me, I think it's an insult to him. It's rude and it's selfish for me to then say, I am too much to extend the same grace and mercy. Who am I to withhold if God is freely giving it? There's no way in the world. So I'm going to give it to myself. And that's what I'm currently learning in the meantime. Giving grace, giving mercy to myself, giving patience to myself. I've never had patience a day in my life, but I'm giving patience to myself because it's not a race. A journey is a journey. Sometimes you stop and you take in the sights. You look at the flowers as they're blooming. Sometimes there are no flowers and it's just desert ground. But you know what? In the desert, there's stuff that's special there too. You might see some cactuses. It's prickly on the outside. It's hard to get to. But when you cut in on the inside, there is nourishing, life-saving water. So there are times where things we have to go through, like some of those things you got to write in your journal that you can't tell another human being, you write that in your journal. That's the cactus. It's prickly to touch, to think about. But when you get through it, that life-saving water that can replenish you, that's deep inside on the inside so that you can get to where you need to be. There's so many different things that we experience in trauma that we need to take a step back. I know we don't like to look back, but sometimes we got to look back so that we can properly assess what actions we need to take so that we can go forward. I'm a big supporter of understanding what's rooted deep inside and what are the reasons for why something has happened. And many a time you'll start to understand that, okay, on this surface I see this. Okay, so it must be this other little layer on the bottom. That must be the reason why. No, baby, go deeper. Keep going until you hit ground. Then when you deal with what's at the very bottom, baby, the amount of stuff that just falls off and things start blooming and you start feeling lighter and your skin starts glowing and you start smiling and you start having those moments where things used to bother you before and you're like, that doesn't bother me anymore. It really doesn't. I had a problem too, my sisters, with rejection, right? So I felt rejected, but you know what? That was all in my mind. I'm really good at storytelling. I have a book called Flipped. It's a fiction, so you'll know I'm good at storytelling and making up whole scenes with details and scenarios in there. You can get that on Amazon, by the way. But um, you tend to make things up in your head, and you're so good at it. You give it a narrative, you ascribe it to characters and people, and so now you started believing that this is what it is, and now that rejection has taken hold inside of you. Now you've made it up, and now it has taken hold. It has its own life, right? It's like Seymour in Little Shop of Horrors. It has taken over, and now you don't even remember how it all got started. Well, it started with you. You saw one thing or you felt one thing, and you gave that thing so much power that it has now taken the power that you gave it, by the way, and usurped you. It's time to take your power back. Take it back because it wasn't theirs to begin with. So take it back. You have your own power. So this is where the perspective shift comes so that you can understand that your meantime is not downtime. It's not playtime, but I'm starting to sound like what's his name? Jesse Jackson. But it seriously, it is not one of those times that you should be ignoring or belittling. Your meantime, yes, I see Cassandra. Flip it. Yes. Your meantime is very, very vital to your growth, to your healing, to your perspective shift, to your benefiting the world. I always tell people the world needs your presence. We forget that. We start living as though, I believe it was Stacy who started mentioning shell. I mean, these have now become my sisters for real because we are just building on each other. You start living as a shell, and I won't call it living. If you visit my site, Love and Thrive, right? I talk about, are you living or are you just existing? Because there's a difference. If you are living, you are actively experiencing, you are indulging in what this life is, what you can give to it, what you can receive from it, the benefactor, right? The benefits, sorry. You are actively engaging in the presence of other people and in knowing that you have a presence yourself. If you're just existing, you're just hoping to make it to another day, another moment, if so much. And that's problematic because God has created every single one of us with a purpose. So think about this. If God has created you with a purpose, why would you think that you should just simply exist? That is so incredibly, one, insulting to the creator when he knew he made you beautiful. That's one. He made you in his image. He made you with gifts and talents and abilities to give back into this world. He gave us as humans dominion over this world. So this means that we have the ability to walk in confidence with our heads held high. We have the ability to create, to think, to be, to heal, right? To and when I say heal, I mean to understand the pains, work on them, and then to move past them. I won't say move on because I don't want it to be misconstrued. I would say move past them. And when you pass them, those I won't say go back to. If you want to glimpse them and remember, the Lord brought me from there. Yes, Lord, do that. But I will not say go back there and make acquaintances because that is not where you are from. All right. You don't have to go back there. That is not your home. I would rather say that you were kidnapped into believing that that mess is where you should have been, and it's not. You need to understand who you are, why you are here, and what you can do because the world truly needs your presence and it needs you even in your meantime. Look at me. I am in my meantime, and my meantime brought me to be a co-author, #1 best-selling international author of I Am More Than Enough. And that's in my meantime. What can you do in your meantime? What are you depriving us of because you are not willing to share what you are going through, what you are learning, and what you have gotten from that? Because there is a lesson in every single thing. Not one thing happens without a reason, and it is not cliche. We just say it over and over without meaning behind it, and that's why it looks cliche, but it is not cliche. Nothing happens pointlessly. If we are all created by a creator who plans everything down to the detail, I'm currently rereading Exodus. And let me tell you, God is not one who plays games with his creations and with his instructions. He has detailed the types of thread people ought to wear. He has detailed every inch, cubit, what something should be overlaid with. I mean, the detail on it. And then on top of it, he then gives you an image so that you can see and not mess up them details. So if he is so detailed and then he put a purpose in your life for you, why then would you think you should just exist? That is all you have. You have nothing to give just because you are going through your meantime moment. Don't shortchange yourself. Don't be selfish at all. That's not a good selfish whatsoever. Don't do it. I've been there so many times. I said I didn't have anything. That's right. God said it was good when he made. So many times I thought I don't have anything to say, to give, to and the Lord made me stop. You're going to hear me talk about the Lord a lot because I am nothing without him. He is my everything. And that's why I have a purpose. That's why I am enough. That's why I no one else can do those things for me or even through me. So I'm not giving anything in my past the power again. What I'm going to use, I'm going to use the past to propel me to the purpose that I have. And now I see that all of my purpose, everything in my past has been something that has been wonderful. My past has allowed me to contribute to this book. My past has allowed me to write fiction. My past has allowed me to start a podcast, a blog. My past has allowed me to go on to hosting workshops and seminars and speaking to different places and being paid for it. So in your meantime does not have to be wasted time. use your time wisely. And that is what I want to leave you with. Use your time wisely in the meantime.
I love
Tamika?
that. Use your time wisely in the meantime. I love that. Nicole says the past has no power over
That's
me.
right, Nicole.
Your God baby's in here, so I want to make sure that you shout out to your God baby.
Hi, Gabby.
Heather says, in the meantime is not wasted time. That is powerful. In the
Yes.
meantime is not wasted time. Why do we think we're wasting time in the meantime? Is it because we don't feel like things are
I
moving?
don't know.
Or is it because we're stagnant?
Yeah. It feels like things are not moving, but it also comes with a level of feeling ashamed that they're not moving fast enough. Like, why am I not already there? And we need to realize that it's not a race. Different things happen over time. So healing past it is going to take time. So,
And it's funny
and
that
that's
you
what
mentioned
I've
the past,
learned.
because Cassandra said, she reiterated what you said, use the past to propel you to your purpose. Yes.
That's right,
Yes.
Cassandra.
Absolutely. That was powerful. And like you said, everybody just stacked on top of each other. Yeah. Cassandra says, don't become stagnant in the meantime. And that's the truth, you know, and it's in the meantime when you're really preparing for your next level, you know, in those moments where it feels calm and it's quiet. You're right. A lot of times we feel like we're not moving, but I really believe that that's a moment of preparation. Like, you know, a lot of people were upset because there was a shutdown that took place, but this was our in the meantime. When we were in a shutdown and everything slowed down, that was my meantime, honey. I went back and was like, let me work on some projects that I let go years ago. You know, because now time has kind of slowed down.
You're right. You're absolutely right. You know what's funny? And it just occurred to me. We always talk about getting from point A to point B. And we look at that because A and B comes right after it. It's the shortest distance. But no one thinks about there's a space between A and B. That's the meantime. It doesn't matter the distance or the amount of time. There's a space in between there. You don't know what's happening, but you're from A and you want to get to B. But that space in the middle, it's a mandatory thing. It's mandatory. We have to go through it and we have to use it to our advantage.
That's and sometimes prepare in that meantime, in between A and B, sometimes that preparation helps you to skip all the way to E quickly. You can jump over, you know, C, D, and you can jump to E because you were preparing in between A and B, right? And sometimes we forget that. Heather says, for me, in the meantime was my emerge phase. Look at y'all. I love it. Thank you for reminding me that this was not wasted time. I love it.
You are
the dash between your birthday and death is in the meantime. Like we're constantly working. See? Crystal, thank you so much. Listen, I'm gonna have you hang out in the green room. We're gonna bring Robin on here. That was powerful. Folks, listen. We are on our final day of 5 days of self-love. This has been such a powerful week. You're really just getting the overflow of what it was like to be in our trainings, the way that we had our sisterhood, our Facebook inbox. You're just getting the overflow of that. And I am just beside myself with what has turned into a mini revival this week, right? Somebody remarked to me today. They were like, oh, you got to get ready for your revival tonight. I was like, yeah, I guess that's kind of what it was, you know? I wasn't sure what this was going to be, but I knew that this is something that God commissioned. And so I'm hoping that all of you are taking this in, that if God put something on the inside of you, give him your yes. I can't remember who said that just yesterday, but give God your yes. Listen, for those of you, and we're getting ready to bring Robin on, who may be interested in being part of the next project. I do have another project that is dropping, and it starts at the end of February, okay? And it is called The Courage to Be Free. So we just started off with, I am more than enough. So once you know that you're enough, then you got to free yourself of some things, right? So if you're interested in that, go to couragetobefree.net. I'll make sure to put that in the comments. And you can see how you can be one of 20 women. I'm only taking 20. One of 20 women that will be part of our next. And I know it's going to be a bestseller because God, God gives me the downloads for the titles and everything else, and he brought everybody together that needed to be here. So if you're interested, go to couragetobefree.net. Listen, we have Robin that is coming to the stage. Hey, Robin, how you doing? Let's see. Unmute yourself, boo. Y'all just realized I got a lot of teeth in my mouth. I don't know if I just realized that, but when I just looked down at my computer, all I saw were teeth. That is a whole mess. And you know what? I don't know why this
No,
realization
it's
just
not.
struck me tonight, because my father used to
It's
call
not a
me
mess.
Bugs Life. He used to tell me, he said I have this
You
picture
know
where I
what?
look like life. And I didn't see it until just now. You know, but I am more than enough. All these teeth and everything.
Yes, you are.
Indeed, I
Yes,
am
you
more than
are.
enough.
Yes, you are.
All right, guys, it's good to laugh. It's good to laugh.
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
Yes. So, Robin, I'm really excited that we got you here. Boo, we got you here. Okay.
I
We
know,
hit
right?
a reset, right? We hit a reset. Stacy told us, listen, we gotta get out of our own head, and we gotta stop being other people's opinions. Wait a minute. I feel like I said it wrong. Heather told us to reset. I think I said Stacy said it. I don't know who I said it, but y'all forgive me. Heather said reset. Stacy told us you are not other people's opinions. Crystal came in here and told us, while you understand that in the meantime, there's work to do, whether that's on yourself and getting to your next level. And my God, here comes Robin telling us to pack light. Y'all, this thing is crazy. I couldn't have planned this better. I didn't know what anybody was going to talk about. So, Robin, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, awesome. So everybody, I'm excited to present to you Robin M. Sample, #1 international best-selling author, with her talk of Pack Light.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sample, and I'm one of the co-authors. And I am more than enough. And I want to share with you tonight a little bit about packing light. And I'm going to try to get through it relatively
Robin.
quickly, because and having some
Yeah, I believe
internet
you're breaking up. For those that are tuned in, is it just on my end?
issues. So I want to get through it before my internet acts up again. But you know, I'm God's going to get the glory with
Robin, so you're breaking up, darling.
whatever it is that I'm able to share.
Okay. Robin.
So the first
Robin, this is what I need for you to do because you're breaking up. So if at all possible, jump out, come back in, and let's try it again. Because it's breaking up, and unfortunately, I don't think anyone is able to hear. This it's pretty amazing how I believe this happened on the second night, and now it's trying to happen on this final night. And we come against it right now. So Robin, what I need for you to do is to jump out and then jump back in. Okay. So come back in so that we can go ahead and we can try this once more and again. Okay. Now, folks, like I was saying to you earlier, we do have a new anthology that is coming out. Now, for those that are kind of thinking, I wonder if this is something that's for me. What happens is, even if you're not an author, I'm going to work with you, right? We have trainings that are set up. You'll be able to, I'll give you trainings on how you can actually write your chapter, how you can market your chapter. And oh yes, this is going to be a permanent staple. We're going to be having our moments where everybody's going to have an opportunity to speak. You'll get media opportunities and different things like that. But again, I'm only opening that up for just 20 women. This is what I want to do. I want to take a moment because there were a lot of questions for Heather and for Coach Stacy as well. So if you have any questions, do me a favor and plug those in, because I do want to give Robin an opportunity to jump back on, because I want her to be able to come in and to say what she's been preparing. She's been preparing all week long. So if there's anybody that has any questions, yes, Lisa, I agree. I agree, because people are definitely getting free. Lisa is saying, it's just Satan. He's big mad. He is big mad. This has been such a powerful, I'm bringing on Heather, I'm bringing on Crystal. Coach Stacy, if you're ready to come back on, we can come on and just have a quick little chat while we're waiting to see if Robin is able to jump back in here. And, this is something that's really important for everybody to even understand here as well. Coach Stacy kind of talked about this, where she talked about not getting embarrassed, not getting in your feelings when things take place. Let me see. Robin, I want to see how things are going. I'm throwing you back in here. And the thing is that sometimes things just don't go as planned. But what I loved about what Coach Stacy, what you said, is that embarrassment is us projecting things onto other people, right? And then also, sometimes we find ourselves feeling frazzled and things like that. And today I was just like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to be frazzled at all. We're just going to figure this thing out. We're going to plead the blood. Robin, are you there? Robin, let me hear you, honey buns. So for let me see here. Oh, look, everybody's just pleading the blood. Everybody's just pleading the blood. Nobody's even giving us questions. People are just like, listen, Satan, you're defeated. Yeah. Yes, he is. Because people have definitely been getting free. Those of you that have been in the comments that you've been watching, let us know very quickly, how was this week for you? How was tonight for you? What are some chains that have been broken off of your life? I said it before, Stacy, for me, when you really broke down what self-love really is, that was an eye-opener for me. That was really an eye-opener for me. I mean, let me ask you, Heather, like, what's something that you've either learned about yourself, or you're like, yeah, I'm going to do an about face and not do that anymore, either from tonight or this week? How has this process changed you?
I'm sitting here with a tissue in tears, because what you just said, Crystal, about it not being a waste of time has got me so emotional, because I was just texting someone, hashtag I'm bitter. I lost all this time going through this healing process, not being able to pursue my passions, not being able to work, not being able to be the wife, the mother I wanted to be, the child I wanted to be, the friend I wanted to be. I felt like I lost all this time. And it just impacts me in such a big way and brings me to tears that you say it wasn't a waste of time. I may have missed out on some moments, but it wasn't for naught. It wasn't a waste of time. And I needed to hear that. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. That means a lot to me.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You are welcome, my dear.
Yeah, that's
I'm so
big.
happy about that.
And Coach Stacy, you just got me all fired up. I was putting in our private chat,
Yeah.
coach me. I need a coach.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, hopefully I can fire you guys up again. I wear my ring. I have a ring that says, I don't know if I can get close enough. It says, I am enough.
Oh, I love that.
I am enough. And it is a reminder. I know someone said, I think it was you, Heather, you were saying earlier, I'm not sure if we will ever be enough. And so a client of mine purchased this for me and sent it to me as a gift. We are enough, right? We are enough. You say you don't know if you ever are, but you are. You are enough for where you are. And you can only do is just continue to keep striving to do better, right? But embracing where you are right now, that's enough. That is enough. And so hopefully that does fire you up and fire up others out there. When you were saying that, I was thinking, I'm like, no. Yes, you are. For the moment you are in right now, you are enough. You are enough. And don't let anyone tell you different. Don't take anybody's opinion of that and project that onto yourself and wear it as a badge of honor, because that's not true. You are enough for where you are right now. Yes, you lost some time. Yes, Crystal has helped you get back that time. But guess what? It was all for time, right? Everything God says, it was for a reason. You had to learn some things. You had to go through some things. You had to move some things out of the way. You had to make some room for some things. And so it wasn't lost time. It was all divine time, right? It was all divine timing to have you where you are right now. You are enough.
Thank you. I love that.
Crystal, how has this process shaped you? Either the whole entire process, this week of watching the women on here tonight, with your revival mates. How has this shaped you?
Are you asking me? Was she asking me? Who was she asking?
Crystal, I think.
All of us?
Crystal? Okay. Crystal, how has it shaped you?
Okay, so what it has done is allowed me to continue to be naked. I love to say that. I know for some people it's like a shock factor, but it expressing what you've hidden for so long because you've been so ashamed of it or embarrassed or hurt by it, and allowing other people to hear it. That nakedness can help so many people. And look, part of that nakedness done made Heather cry because it helped her realize something that she hadn't seen before. So it's shaping me to continue to be naked emotionally so that it continues to help people. And I am loving it. Absolutely loving it. This is who I am. It's why I am here.
I love that. I love that. What about you, Coach Stacy? Now, you're somebody, you coach other women. This is what you do. But what I love is that you were so open to the process too. You know what I mean? And so how has this shaped you even from tonight? Like just the way that all of the word just kind of came together between all of you ladies. What have you gotten out of everything?
Oh my, when she came with that reset, oh baby, I was like, oh, okay, it's okay to reset, right? It's okay to reset. That's what I got. I can reset. Even if I mess up today, I can get up tomorrow and I can reset. That's what I got. In the meantime, I can reset in the meantime.
Yes.
Y'all, I'm trying to tell you, tonight was crazy. Tonight, I mean, the order and seriously, that's what I keep saying to folks. The order was literally the way people said, "Okay, Tamika, I want to go Friday." It was no special hat trick. I just went according to when people said they could go, and in that order. And God set that up so well. He set that up so well.
He sure did.
Listen, folks, we are about to get out of here. I want you to remember that you can purchase the paperback book from each author that has been on here tonight. Do not purchase it from me, right? Don't purchase it from me, but purchase it from all of the women that were here tonight. So I'm going to go around. I'm saying go around. I don't even know what that looks like to y'all, but I see you guys as a square. So I'm going to go around and allow each one of you to, I want to be able to put your information on the screen and what have you. So Heather, let us know how people can connect to you, how they can grab the book, and all of that good stuff.
Sure. It's heatherelduma.com/shop. And that's Duma, D-U-M-A.
heatherelduma.com.
That's it.
Crystal, talk to us and let us know how folks can purchase, how they can connect with you, how they can purchase the book from you as well.
Okay, so I'll make it real simple. You can buy the book at crystalhaynesbooks.square.site. That's SITE. Or if that's just too long to remember, go to crystalsays.com. I have all the information there as well. And you can find me on Instagram, my Facebook, all of that is all on there. Just find me.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Dr. Stacy, let everybody know how they can connect to you, get some coaching and all that good stuff in the book.
Well, several ways. You can hit me at, as she says on the screen, stacybryant.com, or you can just hit me in my DMs. I'll send you wherever you need.
It goes down in the DM.
Down in the DM.
Let me see here. Oh, it's okay, Robin. Robin said her internet connection is not cooperating. Listen, we have you and another one of our authors that will be coming back. So don't worry. We're going to make sure that you have your moment to share what God gave to you. Nicole Johnson says, great conversation, ladies. She said, the champ is here. I don't know who the champ is, but I'm excited about it.
She talking about me. She talking about me. That's one of my students.
I don't know what song I was.
They
I was thinking of the
nicknamed me
Rocky
the
song, but I don't know
champ.
what it is. Well, the queen is definitely here for sure. Dinah says, oh, she says, thank you, Tamika, and such an inspirational week. And Dinah, thank you so much for being here with us. I think you've been here every single day. Like, you rock all day long. You've been here every day. Nicole says,
thanks,
you
Dinah.
dig? Yes, girl.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, ladies, I love you. Thank you guys so much. And to everyone that has been hanging out with us, I love you guys. This has been such an incredible week. Thank you for making my ladies feel so special. Thank you for supporting each and every person that got up here. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't easy. I didn't give them a whole lot of direction. I just was like, listen, I want you to get up there and speak. Like, speak on whatever it is that you want to say. I really didn't give them any direction, but I appreciate you because you are just as important as they were. Thank you for being open, right? Because there's nothing worse than teaching to somebody who doesn't want to be open to what you want to say. LaShonda, there is absolutely a replay. Absolutely there is. Let me type this in there. If you go to IamMoreThanEnoughBook.com, and I'm so glad you said that because I was getting ready to sign off, girl. If you go to IamMoreThanEnoughBook.com, every single episode is there, including this one. It was actually streaming live tonight from there. So go to IamMoreThanEnoughBook.com, and that is going to take you to the page that was created for this, and it literally has all 5 videos. So listen, don't worry if you miss it, and please connect with my ladies. Connect with them. Let them know that you heard about them here. Support them. Buy the books from them. You don't need to buy them from me. Buy them from my ladies. All right, guys. Nicole is saying this for me. I appreciate you, Nicole. She said everyone shared this good news. It was some good news, right? It was some good news. Today was just good like Campbell's soup. It was good like Campbell's soup. All right, you guys, for the last time for this particular series, but definitely not forever, I'm going to say I love you. Remember, you were created to make God famous. You guys have a blessed night and have a blessed weekend. Love on yourself. We're not upset about Valentine's, as people say. Please don't say Valentine's Day. I can't stand when people say Valentine's Day. Don't do that. It's Valentine. Okay, whatever. Love on yourself this weekend. I love y'all. Have a blessed one.